So, as we kind of left off, you guys had left from the caldera and moved inward back into the laboratory. You guys did a couple things, mainly talk amongst yourselves about things and, yell at Moritar. Victorion is dead, and Issa is assumedly dead inside the caldera. And also, Axer has just left to go back to the boat she came from and make sure everything's fine there still. Entering that, you guys have, like, at least based on my understanding, intend to do a long rest, however, it's a little soon, so you guys are going to have some extra time to do stuff in between that. I'd say, like, 4 to 6 hours or so. So that's where we'll step in. What are you guys doing?
God, this dry breath.
I was going to do the golem stuff as announced at the end of last session, but after a quick DM with Ian, I don't think I'm going to bother with that just because Hazel is not a magical enough person to want to futz with. Plus, I already have a very reliable meat shield, and his name is Abaddon.
My pleasure.
I most likely would want to see those golems, to be honest.
Okay.
And I'd also want to chat with Axer and Gort on the way. Gort.
Okay. So you would like to chat with Axer and Gort, and then, like, is it in the cargo bay? Okay. Then there's also you've also wanted to check on the golems. The golems over here. Okay. So I'll put that on the list. And then what are the rest of you doing? So I can kind of order how I go about this. Is anyone making anything or
Regrettably, I don't think I have any skills that will let me.
Okay.
And I rolled a level 1 to search for potions ages ago, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get anything.
Yeah. Otherwise, there were some things that might interest you, but you'd have to go into certain rooms, and Moritar knows more about it than you, and they're not here, so meet me sucky. Also, I don't know if it was said quite too much, but there was in the Druid Dragon there was what seemed to be a teleportation circle. Okay. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'll get involved with sardonyx.
Yeah.
Abaddon.
Go ahead.
Abaddon's gonna try making some more health potions and/or potions of giant growth.
Does he have proficiency in alchemy tools or herbalist tools?
No.
Okay. We can try have you try to, but we're not likely to succeed. Nornless, what were you going to do?
Nornless would approach Telf and inquire about the proper rites for burial within their tribe. And he would be doing his dutiful mindfulness of trying to properly, to the best of his ability at the current moment, provide a burial for Victoria. And at some point he would investigate the teleportation circle within the dragon's room.
Okay. Write this down. Alright, I think I will start with sardonyx. Sardonyx, what did you want to do first? Kind of keep in mind, as was for RP stuff, you guys can all kind of jump in. And actually, before I go on, Hazel, was there anything else you wanted to do?
Nah, I think I'm all good. I think I'm just gonna be like idly following with anyone, just being mindful, watching stuff.
Okay. Right. Okay, so Sardonyx, would you like to start with the chatting people up or investigating the golems?
Most likely talking first.
Okay.
Because I
So
would assume Axel just came back from the ship, I guess.
Sardonyx has Axer had just left, but Gort is here.
Okay.
So you see kind of Gort standing against the door. It looks like they were briefly talking to Carl, but that's kind of ended. Whatever, it looks like it was just small talk. And Gort seems to kind of, raise their eyes and look at you as you approach. Did you want something?
Okay. So, I'm always up for information.
Uh.
You seem to have hit a dead point in this volcano. Do you perhaps have any suggestions as to what we should do? I mean, considering you guys were coming here, you must have had a plan, no?
The goal was to leave the volcano alone, from my understanding. It was Kodran's goal here was mainly to take what you and Norlis had stolen from him, from his perspective. I don't know if they would have further explored these rooms they might have, to be honest, but I don't think they had any intention of changing anything with the volcano. From my understanding, they felt that the volcano going off would be positive to their goals and ambitions. And therefore, the goals and ambitions of Dorak, from my understanding.
Interesting. But do you have any information of your own?
About what? The volcano here? I'm not that familiar with it, to be honest. I've left that to, those of the Sunder clan. And if anything, it's an unfamiliarity to me.
See, risking more lives is not something that I'm really fond of doing. So we need to devise some sort of plan before we head back up to those chambers.
It did seem that giant would still be accessible. They seemed to sit in a chair back behind that portal. It seemed that perhaps they could still be accessible if you needed to speak to them. Otherwise, I'm not really sure how to solve your problem. And if anything, it seems their offer may have been a good one. But I don't know.
I think so too. I'm not too keen about throwing this sword again. But I'm more interested. What type of trial will they have us set?
What kind of trap?
Yes. They said that we must stand trial to convince whoever to not let the volcano go off. No?
I'm not exactly clear, but if they're from where I think that is, then perhaps it would be towards some type of powerful fire giant. Maybe even Surtur himself. But that seems that would be quite heavy, I would assume. I hear Abaddon's from the Sunder clan. Maybe they could be of use in that.
Can I do a perception check to see if Abaddon heard him mentioning his name?
Oh, yeah. What's your passive perception? We
9.
could just do it that way. Wait, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do a perception check. But as in by default, by default you probably wouldn't. So if you're like trying to go out of your way to like be extra like perceptive as people are chatting, we can see. But by default, you probably wouldn't have heard it. As in, would you so by this understanding, so since you got 18, I would assume that Abaddon had been, in this moment, kind of as people are talking, going out of her way to try to listen in on things that I've been saying. Which, as in, their goal being to kind of
It's a mundane
listen to things they might
conversation.
not be
Didn't you
wanting
say
to.
people can hop in like as need
Yeah.
be? So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
he just overheard and he's part of the conversation now.
My point is if they were going about it that way and weren't like just normally listening in, I would assume people would kind of they might look like they're doing that. They might have their like hand to their ear awkwardly, and people kind of look at them, unless they're trying to be deceptive about it.
Nah, I think Abaddon was just walking around trying to find something to do.
Okay.
And he just walked past the door like second early enough.
Okay. My only point in that is like your passive perception's so bad, it wouldn't just be like a normal automated response. It'd be something you'd have to go out of your way to do. But yeah. But you would hear them mention your name, and it seemed to be that they likely more recently or in the past had heard that you were a part of a Sunder clan, which is something Kodran knew, so it could have been passed down from Kodran to Gort.
Okay. When you say my name?
I merely mentioned that you were from the Sunder clan and that you might be helpful in negotiations or any trial that would be with the giants past that portal.
Ooh, you're asking a lot there, mate. I could certainly help, but I'm not a lawyer. There's not really much I can do.
There's a way you could become one. Or sorry, there's a way you could want to be one, but okay. So Gort kind of looks to you and look back at Sardonyx. There is something I kind of wanted to ask. I think Axer may have already asked you of this when they were in an odd state, but have any of you had any contact at all with the one known as Attic?
That name does not ring a bell.
Maybe. Why?
My wife was concerned of what may have happened to them. We are in the understanding that Kodran clearly did something with them, and we're not clear what happened. We just know remotely something happened, and at least we got that much. It happened probably like at least a week ago. Maybe more. And as in, we think that Attic may have betrayed Kodran and Dorak, and that's likely why Kodran did whatever they did. Likely with, a worm circumstance. That's what our understanding was.
Well, look, I hate to say it, she was infected with one of those things. But, Mortar and I seem to be able to get that worm out of her head. And, well, we sent her on her way. She had to find her own destiny.
Well, I have 2 questions for you, Vin.
Shoot.
One, where we're heading, and 2, did they tell you anything of note? As in, I was in the understanding they had information on certain threats that were above me.
I asked me something.
If there is a particular thing that you might not remember, which I can just straight up tell you, since it's been like months and months IRL.
Yeah, please do. I think she
Okay.
told me that like fucking
I'll do
maybe
this.
a year
I'll
ago.
do this in like 15 seconds in the hidden secrets thing.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Y'all are not gonna believe it. Yeah, Attic did leave me with this weird warning about something about an airship. I think what was it, the dwarves? What one of them? What the small ones? Beware the halflings?
I've never
beware
seen
of
it.
some. I don't know what she was talking about. So,
Hmm.
that ring any bells?
I mean, there's gnomes, but I've never seen them have an airship. I mean, I think
That was it.
farther east there's things, but every time I've been to what's it called? Load. Every time I've been to the gnomish town near Tambo, that I didn't see them do anything that funky. I don't like they didn't fly in the sky with their ships. They didn't even have any ships. They're landlocked. Unless you mean, but I know there's gnomes further to the east, but it beats me what they would be doing on this wall. Other
Yeah,
than
it
killing
was the gnomes.
Goliaths.
Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah, she left me with a warning about gnome airships. I frankly, I'm pretty sure she was still a bit partly insane, but it's the only thing that really comes to mind.
Okay.
Wait,
I would say
none of this.
Yeah. Yes.
You've been around the block a little bit. The gnomish warships. Anything? Ring any bells?
Did we talk about this last session, Ian? I feel like this came up in a very recent session.
there was. I believe there was some talk of what that sky oval could have been.
Yeah, and I think I rolled for it and like kind of knew.
Yeah. You would, from your understanding, in terms of gnomish warships, it's you have the understanding that the gnomes do have some, like, or as in the Jorvia, there may be some warships per se, like boats and whatnot, but there also is belief of that the gnomes have made ships that sail through the skies. So it could be something like that, but that's that's heavy, gets conjecture almost at this point.
Yes. I've heard some rumors. About that, yes. I don't have anything concrete on it, no.
Hmm.
Apparently, the country they reside in is making fast technological improvements, and they've learned to take to the air, is what I've heard.
Oh. That's what they mean with airship.
Something about a big balloon is the most I've gathered.
What are balloons?
I realized as I said that, I'm like, wait, shit. That might be the wrong word to use. We don't know what balloons are.
Nah, Abaddon just doesn't know because he's a country bumpkin.
That's fair. Can I roll for balloons? I don't know how.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
I think
Is there balloons like in this world? Is
well,
helium a understood concept in this world? Is
okay.
kind of like what I'm wondering, because
Before
otherwise
I
I
give
can't
you the
explain
answer,
balloons.
Hot air
you
balloons,
would
my
be in
guy.
a situation where you have had access to like a lot of resources, so you know a lot of things that the
Okay.
vast majority of people might not.
Cool.
But it
Cool.
doesn't mean that you're like have intimate understandings, or even maybe in a lot of cases the best on like a decent understanding of a lot of
Understood.
things.
Okay, I
So
can operate
you're
on that.
yeah.
Yes, there's so the air we breathe is called oxygen mostly, and it has a certain density. Similar to, you know how water is a certain thickness and oil is a different thickness. In the air that we breathe, there are different types of airs that have different types of thicknesses. There is an air called helium, which is much thinner and lighter, and it floats on top of the regular air, the same way water floats on top of oil. And by capturing this unique air, you can make light objects float on it if you encapsulate it. And that is what a balloon is. It is a thin piece of well-insulated cloth that has trapped helium within it. And the thought is that if you harnessed a large amount of this unique air, you could levitate yourself in a large sense. And I believe that is the type of balloons that these warships are using. That's what I've heard is conjecture, and I'm not sure if it's entirely true, but that is what a balloon is, and potentially what the air warship of the Nomus Nation may be. Abaddon, roll an intelligence saving throw or take 1d4 psychic damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't need to go that far, but
No,
I will
no.
say if you want to have like a what's your intelligence, Abaddon?
A 10.
Boy.
He's not negative. He's
Okay.
just barbarian.
If you
Regrettably
feel
higher
that
than mine.
what I would say is that if your character probably is not someone who's okay, just in case, do you have wait, you said you didn't have proficiency of alchemical tools. Okay. You would have almost like very little, if any, knowledge of chemistry, so a lot of what he said, even though basic, you don't know a lot of those terms. Like you
I
might
don't
know
know.
the term oxygen.
I explained it in
Actually, yeah.
very clear, like water
I
and
think so,
oil. I
okay,
think I
yeah.
explained it very rudimentary to where anyone could understand it.
Yeah, okay. You did, and I understood pretty well. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You're explaining it
Actions.
to someone who's intellectually as far as a medieval peasant.
Well, that's most people though.
Yeah, that's most people.
In
Yeah.
the setting, like most 10 is like a normal thing. Most of the humans and
I
like
mean,
on
fuck.
the
I'm
world
probably only
are
in
in that
10
situation.
intelligence, like IRL. So, like, you know.
Well, I meant in this setting, but yeah.
No, I know. I'm just like correlating it. Like, I'm only 10, maybe 11.
Yeah, I know. But I repeat, you're trying to explain density to someone who still believes in witches.
Yeah, and I use water and
Albeit
oil as a
witches are also
comparison.
real. but
Water and oil. You understand water and oil, Abaddon?
So,
wait,
question.
Yes.
So, does that mean that Sardonyx is flying in that light air because she's
No, no,
floating,
no. They
or
have wings, so they don't need to utilize that. The same way birds don't, because they can flap. You and I, we can't flap. So we need to find other avenues, magical or scientifical, to elevate ourselves.
Abaddon starts flapping his wings? I know, seems pretty easy
Are you getting off the ground?
with a little imagination.
You keep trying
Okay.
that.
Sardonyx, do you have tips?
You are not a winged creature. You are not winged, sir. But Sardonyx will teach Abaddon how to fly.
Can I do? Hear me out. Can I do an
So
intelligence?
first, you know, and she starts flapping her wings and levitating.
Abaddon starts frantically flapping his wings.
his arms.
No, literally his wing muscles,
Oh,
his delts.
okay. I forget. Do some tieflings have wings? Is that a thing in 5e?
That is a
or
thing, yes. Those are called winged
Wait.
tieflings, though.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
That'd be
yeah, I don't
super
think Abaddon
fucking
would know
cool.
about that.
That'd be super fucking cool. Oh my goodness.
Can
Grew
I?
wings.
Can I? Can I roll something to grow wings for once that immediately fall off after 6
No,
seconds?
no. Maybe with boom points, but not here. And
Darn.
even then, you'd have to have certain things at play.
Can I at least roll an intelligence check to see if I learn how to fly?
Sure.
This is when Abaddon gets nat 20.
I'm expecting a nat
You know,
one.
he's gonna go to Kitty Hawk. That's what's gonna happen.
If it's an, I
Okay,
was so
yeah,
hoping it's either a nat
you're-
20 or a nat 1.
You
Come
don't.
on, that's a pass.
You're like, I don't really know, and you kind of like maybe think about like how birds flap their wings. I mean, you're like, maybe I could look at a bird book, but then you're like, I don't know where bird books are, and you kind of give up a little bit. Okay, give me a
Look,
second.
Sardonyx, I don't mean to sound offensive, but I'm pretty sure you're a bad teacher.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Do you not feel your wings move?
I mean, I'm flapping pretty hard. My arms are getting tired, so I think they're moving.
Wait, not your arms. My arms aren't moving.
Makes sense.
It seems you are just a bad student.
Stop. That's what's wrong
Wait,
with
isn't
teachers
this a
nowadays.
bit? Isn't this like a British bit?
I am not sure.
I feel like
It actually is.
Wait, actually,
yeah, no. The way you just said that, like Sardonyx, you just like I'm like it was skirting my head. What is that? Oh fuck! I know exactly. Like you just quoted a fucking like a British comedy bit. I can't remember what it is.
we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Why are you frog blinking at me? You've seen me do more retarded shit. Whoa.
I'm
Dumb
just
shit.
admiring how much you're trying. It's very endearing.
Dedication has got me this far.
You know what? Guess that works.
I may be silly. Anyways, God get troubled with me. Sir Adrian, your presence will be greatly appreciated. But I am going to see if I can get that golem to move. Perhaps it can be a really interesting ally. I do not know if I'm going the right way.
It would be down this way. Through the
You did
through a
not
room
pay
of fun.
anything.
Yeah, you go through this room,
Okay.
and then you would zoop around. Yeah.
Okay. I am taking troubled Gert and Gort. And well,
Oh, Gurk.
Sir Adrian, if he is coming.
Hazel, do you slide along or no?
Sure, I'll come with.
Okay.
Just because
You
everyone
know-
else is, I may as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if your character still had interest but gave up, or who knows. Okay.
I feel like at this moment, Nornalus is heading to Victorion, so he will not be able to attend you.
Okay. Well, then we'll get to that next then, and then we'll do the stuff with Abaddon or on that. Okay. So you walk into the room. You see there's a lowered area of kind of like. Okay, first you got all the pins you need, so okay, good. You see like a lowered area where there's a bit of dirt and whatnot, and on one side there is there's two golems. On one side there's a golem that looks to have certain parts made of wood, but other parts made of metal. The wooden parts are mainly for limbs and things, and do seem a lot thinner than some of the metal portions, especially the case of its wrists being made of metal and rather large. It seems to be in kind of like a fetal position of sorts, sitting upright. The other golem seems to be kind of slouched of sorts, slouched I guess back into the wall, with its hands to its side and its legs kind of creasing against the ground.
Let's see what is going on in here. Is it possible to do an insight check here?
About what? In regards to what?
Perhaps like.
Like
mm,
insight
I
into
wanna know?
why they were in these positions, or why they're here,
No.
or what?
mm, well, not necessarily why they're here. I'm here to get these things working, or perhaps to have them assist us. I have no idea how to turn it on or how to wake them up. I guess I'll touch this one.
You seem to touch it, and it feels cold. It doesn't seem to be moving at all.
There has to be something there. Is there anything in this room that can tell me something about these things?
It looks to be that these things likely could fit into go down the hall, but there definitely would have a little bit of difficulty fitting, but that's not too big of a thing. Likely what you would guess is they don't look like they've moved in a long time, albeit what's your passive perception at?
I think it's like 14.
20,
It is 14.
22?
14.
Oh, 14. Okay.
42.
Yeah, no, I don't think you get too much of it. I mean, at the very least, it looks like it's possible that it seems like if either were to have moved in the last many weeks, it might have been the clay one, because it looks like a little less dusty, and there seems to be, but that's mainly it. You don't really get too much just looking at them plainly.
Fine.
Or at least from let's see.
Are they in like ditches?
Yeah, they are in a lowered area.
Guess I'll touch this one. Poke it. Anybody home?
Let me just check something. So you do what exactly? You just touch it? Okay. You reach out to touch it, and suddenly it kind of it like kind of shakes a little bit, but then it kind of just moves back into like kind of its position. Like its body, more so its fingers kind of tingle a little bit. They kind of can move kind of frantically, and then it gets back into like kind of slanting against the wall.
Do you just not want to move?
Do an insight check. Actually, do an Arcana check along with the
Why
insight.
did I do that? Why am I on advantage?
It's okay. So yeah, do Arcana as well, and this is gonna inform that insight. Okay.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Okay.
That
so
is crazy.
That
the idea how I'm gonna frame this
That's really
is
fun.
that like for Arcana being like, okay, what you know about like how golems function, and then the insights like you're applying, okay, like based off what happened, you're kind of like applying that to how you know how golems function. So you have in this moment you have a pretty fucking terrible view of like you don't understand how golems work at all. So
That would make sense.
so I would say that, well, come up with your reasoning, Sardonyx, why you think like it might have done that. As in, you probably would think that it might like your understanding of golems is basically like anything. Like you could probably justify that it could like, be powered by like coal and like spit. Like however, what I would say is that you at the very least know that like whatever it did was a response to you touching it, and that
I would.
what?
Sardonyx, it's really simple. You just have to go full Warhammer Orc and make your own logic into reality.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to. Instead of like me coming
To
up with a
be
thing, I want to
honest,
give you that
my
opportunity.
thing is, I was honestly just gonna think it's lazy. I'm
Okay.
gonna be like, "This is a lazy one," and I'm going to shake it again.
So
Nap
Hazel
time
just
is
in the
over.
you go to
like, so Gollemancy. First, you smack the golem.
so
Me just flying around, like poking it, shaking it. Nap time is
it starts
over.
to shake a little more, and then it finally, after like you kind of pestering it a bit, tries to. Well, let me get this up real quick. It tries to reach out and slam its hand against your shoulder.
Hey,
Each time you try to grab at it, like move it, it tries to get back into its position it's at. So, just to confirm, what was your? So you believe that the golem is lazy. So within the really good insight you got from this perspective, you would believe that the golem is prioritizing its own like laziness, and is likely trying to well preserve that. And since you keep doing this, it's now trying to fight you, since you're trying to end its time of slumber and hangout time, I guess. Does a it does miss though. It misses your shoulder. After it does that, it then kind of slinks back into that same position.
Yeah, this golem. Good, troubled. You have any suggestions?
You could try talking to it? Sorry, you could try
I have.
talking to it, perhaps? That's not his voice, but I'll go with that.
That was okay. My first thing. I said hello.
Oh, I guess you did say hello. Well, it didn't. I will say it didn't seem to like, you know, do much in regards to hello.
I guess I can try to it again. Um, are you asleep, or are you just lazy?
So you keep trying to fly around it, or like, you know, there's not. This room is probably like, like maybe 15 feet tall or so.
I was
So
this is like
you'd have
trying to
some
get a
range.
good view
Yeah, you could probably fly around a little bit. A little walk, but you
while
can do it.
speaking.
Well, it seems to just kind of ignore you. It doesn't seem to like if you get really like, you know, continuous, it seems to kind of lunge out to do something. But yeah, and also you haven't made any like serious, you know, attempts to like harm it necessarily. You've just been agitating it.
Maybe that Tin Man might know something. I am getting nowhere with this.
Okay. We can continue this in a bit, or whatever you're going to do, but first I'll get back to Normalus. Okay. So, by this point, I would say Telf has probably like taken a little break on the whole Hazel knapsack, you know, circumstance, and is flying around a little bit. And Telf clearly notices, Normalus, that you've been, you know, near Victorion's corpse, and they kind of fly near to figure out what your intentions are, or at least that's what you might think. You aren't fully sure why they're flying near you.
Did they say anything as they approached me?
They seem to be quiet at first and just kind of seem to look at you, and after a couple like seconds of silence, they would then quickly, you know, simply say, "What do you intend to do?"
I intend to give them the respect they deserve. I'm unfortunately ignorant of their particular culture, so I do not know how properly to do that.
Well, since they're a frost fairy, it's little different than normal. We, simply put, often do various things, but the main thing is generally when frost fairies die, they, well, they don't melt, as in if they die of old age per se. We'd often, well, try to contact someone from farther west, to take them up deep and far into the Oak Hill Mountains. There is a village of them, but our village only has some frost fairies. I know in the past, though, we've also buried them underneath our permanently frozen lake.
Fortunately, both of those sound a little out of my power at the moment. I don't
Other
have...
fairies and our kin we do various other things with. We tend to occasionally bury them, but others we would place in boxes and hide them in the woods.
Given our current circumstances, Telf, what is the most respect I can offer them where we are now?
Either find or construct a wooden box, make it more than if you were to make it, or if you were to find one, it would need to have details that are enough to make it more than plain. As in carvings of some kind, even if they're simple. Then I'd say place them in a place you think most wouldn't find. But not somewhere that would be impossible to find.
I will do my best. I don't think, is there any wood in this lab?
You do see a bit of wood. You see there's quite a lot of wood, just per se. A lot of it's some twine, others of it's more proper. I guess twine's not wood, but there's a lot of wood that's like burned up with twine. But there's just a lot of like there's some logs, but there's also a lot of like 2x4s and a lot of like sticks and twigs. There seems to be a lot of material that one could use to make like bows or basketry, especially basketry. As well as like water, barrels with like water, or sorry, more so, when I say barrels, I picture barrels and like wooden buckets that could be used to like help bend wood and whatnot, for like wetting the wood. But yeah, there seems to be a decent amount of various wood. And definitely the tools here, you'd easily be able to find like hand saws and things.
Norris would then spend however much time it takes to build a box that would fit Victorion in it.
Okay. Do you have
No.
proficiency in wood carvers, or is there carpenter's tools? Is that a thing?
There is. I do not.
Okay. So if you were to attempt that, I would say that Carl would kind of move up to you after a while and would seem to kind of stare at you initially, but eventually kind of try to, offer themselves to help. I see what you're doing. I have some familiarity with woodworking, at least to some degree. Oh, I say some degree, more of a degree. I mean, years of it is. My father was a carpenter. Or, well, I say father. Someone I consider to be a father figure in my village, per se, is a carpenter.
Is that the end of his sentence? I thought you were gonna go on.
Yeah, no, that's what he says, and then he starts to kind of, he looks like he tries to help you out a little bit with it.
I am a fumbling fool here. If you would be willing to assist me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Okay. Do you let Carl kind of take full control, or do you try to do your own thing and have him help you?
The opposite way around. As Carl comes into it, I let him take the lead and do my best to assist as I can.
Okay. In that case, I will roll. That would be advantage, and then plus his proficiency. Okay. You guys manage to make a box. It's functional. It's more than, doesn't have any nails that are creaking out, and doesn't look like it's easily cracked or anything. And then once you kind of construct it, then kind of Carl starts to look around and find tools for wood carving.
Mm-hmm.
And looks to begin that, albeit they kind of do look around. I would say this point, like if Sardonyx was done with certain things, maybe Trebold or any of the other people could possibly have wood carving knowledge. You're not sure, but Carl doesn't seem to be that unfamiliar with it, but you're not sure if he's like a master or anything, or has a huge amount of experience with it.
Actually,
Carpentry, definitely they did though.
as the box has been completed, Normless would locate an amount of wood carving tools to do what he's about to do, and he would approach first Abaddon, then Moritar, then Sardonyx, then Hazel, Carl, and approach everyone in turn and ask them to carve whatever they feel like carving into this box that is representative of them and their time with by Victorion's side. This is essentially what he says to each person. Just carve what you feel is right. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be grand or vast or artful. Just leave your mark. The same way they left theirs with us.
Okay, if people aren't gonna immediately go out, I'll say that Carl would carve a. Actually, well, I'll wait for who did you say you were doing second after Mortar?
Abaddon.
Oh, so you said Abaddon. There we go. Abaddon.
Abaddon first, then
Okay,
Moritar.
Abaddon first. Abaddon, are you here?
Yep. Everyone's gonna pull out a small knife and just very calmly carve in "See you in Valhalla," little Valkyrie.
I love that. None of us would approach Sardonyx after that.
Okay. We'll quickly get back to Sardonyx right now, and then
Okay.
we'll kind of get back to this. Sardonyx,
Yes.
what would you have continued to mess around with the golems of your current entourage, or would you kind of had given up or done something else, or what?
I would have given up. I ain't dumb. That thing tried to hit me. You
Okay.
want me to go back?
I don't have any of I'm not going to. I'll give
No,
like
I'm
no
not
answer.
saying-
I'm not going to answer
I
that.
will come back with the people who I think would best do this. I'm going to grab that tin man by his head
Okay.
and drag him in.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, I would say after you kind of did a lot of stuff, it seemed to be that Normless was working on a box, and they eventually kind of finished it up around, and they would eventually come to you, with the intentions that they've stated.
Oh. Of course. Sardonyx grabs the tools. Very focused. Very precise. I am going to draw one of my wings and one of Victorion's wings, cradling a heart.
That is adorable. I love that.
Who do you go to next?
Hazel.
How big is this box? Like a couple feet long, I presume?
Victorion size, which unfortunately is kind of
Yeah,
erratic.
Yeah, I don't really know how big.
And neither do I.
So I would say I'm kind of viewing them like being on the smaller end of small, like maybe 2
Like,
feet,
two-
and then
oh,
like
wow.
tiny. Wait, is tiny like?
Tiny, I think,
doesn't
is less than 1
exist.
foot.
Okay,
No,
so
tiny
yeah, they
exist.
can become tiny, but I'm viewing. I guess in this case, I think also since they're due to the way they died, they did shrivel up a little bit,
Mhm.
and have continually been, and are probably drying out a little bit, albeit sorta. I mean, not quite. Some of them are still kind of solid, but they are definitely smaller than 2 feet at this point.
Mhm.
And so the box would probably be like 1.5 feet or 2 feet in diameter. I mean, in width, or sorry, probably lengthwise. It probably is coffin shaped. Vaguely.
Hazel will approach the coffin, pull out one of her daggers, and on the side carve a phrase in Sylvan. Does anyone here speak Sylvan? Or rather, know how to read Sylvan?
I do if I cast a spell, which I don't currently have right now.
I would say Telf almost certainly would.
Okay, then Telth would see that the carving says, "May you shine like gold in my memories." And I will actually place 2 gold coins over where I would presume their eyes would be, on top of the coffin.
I lied, I do speak Sylvan. Norlis read that and smiled.
Avalon takes a look at the scribbling and gives Hazel a bit of a side eye saying, "Come on, you don't have to practice scribble on this. That's a bit insensitive."
I believe that this inscription would be readable in their mother tongue, which is specifically why I wrote it this way. It is Sylvan.
I feel like a bit of a dick now.
What?
He feels like a bit of a dick now.
Oh, I'm a bit of a dick. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, no.
No, I think yours had your sentimental value. I think that had the Abaddon touch.
No, I mean, I called it chicken scratch.
Okay,
Kinda mean.
I'll copy it.
I will say,
Huh?
do any of you have woodcarver's tools proficiency?
No, I'm positive nobody does.
Maybe it's possible. I mean, some of the NPCs might, maybe Gurk, but well, they have glass building stuff. Maybe Treble's got cooking. Okay. So we also
I have vehicle.
alright. Once you went to other people, Norlis, Carl would have drawn a wolf, or at least the head of a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Telf would draw an egg. Gort wouldn't really know what to draw, and would just draw perhaps a triangle.
That's perfectly
I would
fine.
say around this time Axer would come back, and they wouldn't really know what to draw, and they would draw another triangle. It doesn't seem to mean anything deeply, but they don't really seem to have a huge connection to this person, and don't really want to do too much with that.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Trabold and Gurk would then draw a Trabold draws a insect of some kind. It might be, it's not very good. It's unclear if it's like supposed to be like a dragonfly or what, but it has insect wings like she does, or like she did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gurk seems to Common seems just to write the name of the village that they believe Victorion was assumedly from, which was Gumnot. They just write the word Gumnot. And then in in Giant, they write something directly above it, which for those that read Giant reads return to. So return to, and then in Common, Gumnot.
I can't read that language.
Actually, you can't read. Wait, wait. Furbolgs can't read giant. Did we go over this at one point?
We have gone over this. It's
This is
not.
so it's so bizarre, but I kind of
Nope.
it's interesting that they don't. But yeah,
I mean, hell, not all elves speak Elven.
yeah. Well, okay. So I think that's everyone. Yeah, it's mostly everyone. Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah.
I didn't make my potions yet.
Well, I know,
No,
in
no,
terms
the
of
box.
in terms of a wood carving thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
like that.
Okay.
Okay.
The
Well, at the
scene,
end-
not the
Yeah.
time.
At the end, you
Sorry.
have some people. It looks to be that like sorry. Well, the triangles look fine. Gurk's writing is decent. It's pretty decent. Some of the others, Gort's not that great. The wolf looks okay. The egg is
An egg.
very simple, but looks nice. Albeit it did seem that the wood carving tools at hand were sized for a medium-sized creature, so it was a little interesting to see Telf kind of basically
Mhm.
hold it like a pole arm almost as they kind of
I
grabs
probably would have
around,
helped Telf. Just,
yeah.
like, guided them.
Mm.
Or, like, pushed while they aimed. Nornless would inscribe on the top to the best of his ability, and I will roll a check for this, and I'm going to add dexterity just as my modifier. Travel with the blue ravens now. That is a 19 plus 3 for dexterity, so 22. That is as clean as Nornless could possibly try and write it, just about. He writes, travel with the blue ravens now.
Okay. What language are you writing that in?
That was in straight common.
Okay. As you write that, Axer seems to raise her eyebrow and looks a little slightly intrigued. How excuse me, but do you know of that group? Sorry, you know of that group?
Yes, I do.
Prior to the events that happened at Bone Laft, I had heard, I was in the understanding that a friend of mine, it's a little hard to put it that way at this point, but Attic had traveled with them a little bit before they met with us at Bone Laft, or met with Dorak at Bone Laft. Are you what do you know of that group? She says, kind of realizing she's kind of taking away some of the moment. And so after she kind of says that, she kind of steps back a little bit and like holds her hand around her mouth.
No, it's fine. What I know of that group is most of them are dead now. I'm trying to find one of them in hopes that they're still alive.
I know a little. I know that she joined up with them many months ago, but wasn't in there too long. I know that she said that they had more prior to her joining. I know there were, at least when she was part of it, there was a Furbolg, but apparently there were more at one point. I'm trying to think of her details, but there were a couple interesting folk in there. But I'm surprised that you know of it. Does it mean something to you of great importance? Why would you write it there? Is what I'm asking.
So that Victorian is not traveling the next plane alone.
Interesting.
And knowing my son, he only traveled with good people.
There is one other thing I know about them. And it's that, well, I'm in the understanding that they would have been in, well, from my, I don't know if this is a certainty, but I've heard enough rumors from Min and I guess, well, Kodran that there was a group, but well, I'm piecing it, to make it simple, I was in the understanding that, and keep in mind this is off little, a bit of hearsay, but they were in Flat Elk not that long ago. Meaning
Bless you.
they
Thank you.
may have been there for Dorak's siege. I don't know. I do not know. Given what you told me about, or given what Abaddon had told me about Attic, I was in the understanding that Attic may have been heading to Flat Elk. Wait, did you say that, Abaddon, or no?
No,
You did not tell them they were heading to Flat Elk?
no.
Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind that.
Be
I
right
do
back.
know that Attic was not with that group. I mean, obviously, since they had left that group to, help in Dorak's siege, but I understand they likely have betrayed Dorak, but I don't, maybe they're heading to meet up with them, or did? I don't really know. But all I know is that I had heard rumors that that group was in Flat Elk, at least within the last, like, week or couple weeks ago. That's all I know. Meaning, that if Dorak was successful, something may have happened to them. What remains of them.
Well, that's not the best of news, but the person I'm looking for was separated from them around 6 months ago. So I don't think that holds any bearing on my current pursuing quest.
Well, you never know. And so once kind of you guys all kind of have written something and have it in place, Toph kind of goes to you and, where do you intend to put it? Sorry, where do you intend to place it?
That is the question, is it not? How big are the golems?
Both of them look to be around like 10 to 11 feet tall.
Hypothetically, would they be
unless-
hollow?
The clay one, probably not. The shield golem might have some hollow portions, probably. There's
Nonetheless is
also
gonna...
there also is a bunch of tubes. Well, sorry, go on.
You're good. Nonetheless is going to see if there's... I guess I'm going to make a investigation check for any clever hiding spots that I could hide it within this lab. Because
for it.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. If one of the golems is hollow enough to where I can put the box inside the golem, I feel like that would be a good place too. But I'm unsure if that is actually the case. So I'm going to roll an investigation check. 17 plus 5. Another 22.
Firstly, you would get the idea that when Telf said what they said, they meant it within a context of, like, perhaps an average person. Like maybe a villager from like a nearby town or something. As in, just hiding it within this place to begin with is already something that's like kind of, this is already a hard place to have gotten to. It's in a lab inside an island, and you have to basically get past, things that were
Okay.
guarding it, the creature. So there's already some stuff to it. So even if you were to like place it somewhat plainly, it would already kind of fit within some constricts. But to a greater extent, if you want to hide a little more without kind of going too crazy, you could hide it amongst place it inside a one of the barrels. You could put it inside one of the glass areas filled with liquid. You could nudge it kind of awkwardly into the shield golem, or you could possibly empty out one of the drawers in the alchemy room and place it firmly in there, in the drawer.
I'll do that one.
Okay, that's the most interesting option by far. For reasons you're about to find out. Okay, so in regards to the drawers, there's there is technically some, like, there's a lot of shelves, but there's
Mhm.
one main thing with drawers. And I'll move you in there so I'll explain. This thing kind of has doors that open that then show a bunch of drawers, and as you open it, you kind of see a good, you see several drawers, and you kind of take one out, and you begin to realize these drawers are like a geologist's dream. They are filled with labeled gemstones, crystals, and rocks. And almost like what some being, more than just, naturally found one, but carved ones. As in, if this was in a different circumstance, this is what you would see in a pile in a dragon's hoard.
And it's a. This isn't like a cupboard of holding, right? Like it's a defined space.
Yes, it's a defined space.
Okay. So Nornless will be wandering around, looking for a suitable place to hide it where people might check it at some point. And this is one of the most reasonable places. Like, oh, there's potions in here. This is a place people would go around and look for things in.
Yeah.
It would open
And
drawers. This would be a place people would search. So he's like, this is a good hiding spot within this area that's not directly out in the open. So, oh, that cupboard looks like it could hold a box like this. Let's open it up and look. And upon doing so, he kind of, to use Hazel's favorite expression, frog blinks at the large amount of gems in front of him. And his instant thought is, I'll never have to pay for another spell again. And he will, unashamedly, because it is just gems and he's not really robbing anyone, he's going to, take all the gems that appear to be of value within that for later spell components and later spell transcribing.
Okay. So,
And I assume there's a decent amount, so that is something we can touch back on after the session.
well, there would have been multiple drawers, but I'd say and then you were able to basically, I'd say one of them, you'd be able to, like, remove some fitting and then slide in the box and then just shut it from there.
It is not Nornless's usual prerogative, but in this moment, he will be the equivalent of a loot goblin.
Okay. Before the end of the session, just for the sake of things, you would find a couple diamonds that could be used for spells.
Okay.
Okay, and then meta-wise, I do think I still have some gemstones I have to give info. I don't have to give info because you guys haven't looked into it, but I think Sardonyx has a bag with some gemstones as well that you got off Codram.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to now go to Abaddon, which during this time there's an artificery which has some stuff for potions making, and then there's also the potion room or the alchemy room, which also has some stuff for potion making as well as the storage of potions. Abaddon. In terms of your goals of making these potions, what room would you start in?
I would
'Cause there's also
probably-
potions in the artificer, it should be clear.
I'd probably just go to the first room, just through here, look around, see if there's
As in-
anything.
Okay, so this is the artificer, that's what I'm calling it. I guess there'd be a label to it. It has a lot of stuff for artificers, from various tools, various like stuff for making both potions, for making certain like metal implements. You could probably forge a sword here to some extent, albeit there's forges in like the room over there, but it could probably be better for it. If anything, you could, if you want to do something wacky. And as you're kind of looking for stuff to make, you do find some potion. Actually, yeah, I'd say if you spent some time without doing necessarily like a whole investigation thing, you would find potion tools and a couple like stuff to make potions with in here. It's definitely not the main room for that, but it has a lot of stuff. But as you're doing this, you kind of are realizing that your vision's slightly weird. You can, at this point, see in both of your eyes, but one of the eyes has like a slight red tint to it and how you see, so it's kind of weird. Whereas like your vision, although the way your brain kind of formats it is as if kind of it's a combined vision. That's how our vision we see it as. But it's almost like on your right side, it has a slightly reddish tint, and it was hard to notice a little earlier because you were in like a room that was full of
Right.
like smoke and magma and whatnot. But now as you're kind of like looking at various things that are colored and taking some kind of time just do more like a manual task, you finally kind of fully realize it.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that
Ian,
oh, what?
I think you are cutting out.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we just
Okay.
you're getting a little bit more robotic now, and I think you just cut out completely for like a good 5 seconds.
okay,
Yep,
I'm
right
gonna
as you were trying to
a
say something
random
really
sentence.
important.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say a random sentence to see how well it cuts out. The turtle went to the store.
The turtle went
to a different store.
to
The
a
turtle-
store.
Shit. Okay, I'm gonna leave the call and come back.
Yeah.
Hello?
You're good for now.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I'll get back to what I was saying.
Yes.
The basic idea of Abaddon is your vision on the right side has a slightly red tint. You're fully noticing this now. And before that, you entering the lava chamber, the volcano's whatever part of it's called. I said earlier, the caldera. Your vision was with that new fake eye was not very good at all. It was barely functioning, but now it's functioning as well as your other eye. But it has that slightly red tint. Meaning-
How long-
Something
Okay.
happened in that room that caused it to change. As in the caldera, I mean.
Okay. See, I would also start covering up one eye and swapping to the other, and doing that a couple times, and you guys have had two eyes for longer. Can I ask something real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, one of my eyes is giving me a red on everything. Everything looks red on my left eye. Is this normal? Is it like a puberty thing?
Did you poke it one too many times?
Is the eye red initially? Like, is it a red gemstone or is it a clear gemstone? Is what I'm asking.
It's a clearish gemstone.
It's not, well, okay, to be clear, it's not a gemstone, it's a piece of glass.
You know what I meant.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like it looks like a relatively, it's a circular thing. It's not a,
Okay.
It doesn't have, like, any sharp edges to it.
Yes. Is it clear or is it red in hue? is what I'm asking you, Ian.
It is red in hue. It's a tinted red. It has a red hue to it that you realize you looked to him when he put it on earlier. Before you walked into that Nova Caldera, it wasn't like that. It was a little muddier. It actually looks clearer than it did earlier. It looked to be like kind of have like a lot of imperfections in it. And now it doesn't, other than being tinted red.
Interesting. I suppose that I don't quite know the intricacies of this magical item. It is magical because it restores sight, of course. I'd inquire with Gurk, the person who made it.
Also, I would say that you guys know, or less so. I mean, Abaddon has some understanding, but since it happened to Abaddon, it'd be more clear to others. Norlis, you remember when that spirit kind of took control of Abaddon to speak? Their eyes lit up with flame. And
Yes.
you weren't really sure what happened to that spirit afterwards, but clearly either it could possibly either still be in Abaddon or some of its essence resides in Abaddon. Also, I'd like you and anyone else who's nearby to do a either an insight, yeah, at least first an insight. I would say insight check.
Okay.
Would I be
Scroll.
doing one as well?
If you feel like you would be paying attention to that conversation instead of like, doing something else.
I would.
Okay.
Not well. That's 2 on the die for a total
okay.
of 7.
Okay. What do you get?
1 plus 2. So.
Okay, so we both rolled like shit.
So you guys aren't doing well. You guys don't put much.
Amethyst
Amethyst.
rolled okay.
Okay, Amethyst, you're thinking back, and you remember a mention of, well, you remember both the giant and that giant spirit mentioning something about the fire of Sur, and that it was, and it's hard to really make clear things because it was just definitely a tense situation, but you're thinking that there's a possibility that, well, there was fire of Sur kind of in that dead, like, well, in the volcano in some way, either through that, in that, like, through the spirit in, it's where it was laying, as in, when it was a dead giant, or something like that, and it might be in Abaddon now? And I would like you to roll an Arcana check as well, Sardonyx, since you got high enough to make that good, that connection. And okay, that's good enough. I would say Arcana, if they did, like, let's say if they do have whatever the fire of Surtur is, it clearly has imbued itself into some part of him or some object you're holding. More specifically, assumedly that glass eye. Albeit it's possible it extends within, Abaddon's Overway. You're not really familiar with the intricacies or really exactly what the Fire of Surtur actually is. You just know it's a ancient weapon associated with the Sunder clan, and that it's very unclear. And I think you probably would have. Okay, there actually is one question I have for you. Quickly, Sardonyx, have you heard any mention of the Fire of Surtur in regards to any other party members before this point? Was that a no?
Possibly not. I feel like maybe only Abaddon has ever talked about the fire yesterday.
Well, have you? Well, my question is, I'm trying to remember if you were here for or you were engaged with the mention of Fire of Surtur being in someone else, possibly. But okay, I'll keep that. But yeah, what you would know basically is that what I had stated in that, or at least your guesstimate that it's possible they have the Fire of Surtur in them now. You're not sure specifics of that spirit or whatnot, but it's likely the spirit had some connection with the Fire of Surtur, or maybe was existing because of it. And whatever it was, it's entirely possible that is now in that eye or in Abaddon. or you know, more so of an eye. Be hard to make the other connection.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
If you don't go to mention anything about that, just keep it to yourself. Actually, that's my question. Do you do that, or do you go and say something about it? Because otherwise, I'm gonna have Abaddon roll a check.
I would probably. Oh, where the hell am I going? Where am I?
You gotta have a map somehow, because I forgot to put on a restriction to make it so you can't do that. Sometimes I don't do it because it's that restriction kind of will make it hard to navigate certain parts of the map sometimes.
To be told him about it. Yes.
You said you tell Abaddon
Yes,
about that?
I'll take it that I know a lot about Gert's glass making. I assume.
You know a little bit. You know Gert is it's not something he got from his like part of his village or anything. It's something he most has gotten from traveling northward since being part of Agdollar, and clearly the glassmaking is something from the Sunder clan that he's picked up.
On the right to big boy. I don't know about saying this for Abaddon to understand. It would seem whatever essence that spirit in the volcano had has some way found itself in that glass I could create to. Do you feel any different?
Well, not really. It's just a weird red tint.
Do a medicine check, Abaddon.
Yes?
I'm going to view. I'm viewing this like kind of like it's passive, not like you're actively suddenly forcibly did that or anything. Okay, you know nothing. You're not sure if you've changed
Oh
or not.
my god.
Or to be
Wow,
fair, lately
yeah.
I've been feeling like a Goliath.
Oh god.
Oh?
Boy, yeah,
Can
maybe
you
you have
try-
changed. Maybe you do feel like you've changed in a different way. Who knows? Go with whatever you
Can you
want.
try? That's crazy. Go with whatever you want. Okay.
Well,
As in Abaddon, if you feel you've gotten like I don't know, tangier in taste, if people were to eat you, whatever, you go to 0.
actually, to be fair,
You,
I kind of feel more like a tabaxi. You know, I feel like I'm agile.
Feel agile.
Yeah, I'm a tabaxi.
So, I feel
Who's gonna tell him?
no. He thought he could fly. I don't think any of us can tell him.
Yes. No.
I will not be stifled by the opinions of others.
I need to ask just above
And
table.
teamwork.
This is the second time this session that Abaddon has tried to be an animal, so is Abaddon a furry?
Fuck no.
I was gonna say they could be like either transracial in a fantasy setting, or maybe if you want to go far with it, an otherkin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, nah, he's not a furry.
Abaddon,
Oh.
if you give me a little while, I can attempt to identify the item to see if it possesses properties beyond what it normally does. Going off of what Miss Nicholas says, there's a
Yeah, so
chap.
catch.
What?
That's an interesting idea.
Catch it. And
Catch it!
he just kind of squishes the side of his skull as it pops out and he tosses it to.
No! Put it back
Wait,
in.
the second you do that, Abaddon, you feel really weird. You feel like want it back. You feel like a little cold, which is not a thing you normally feel.
What the fuck is this?
I'm assuming you haven't tossed it yet because you had that initial reaction to taking it out. I was saying I could identify it without you removing it.
Oh, I mean, it would happen like a couple. It would be like a little, like it wouldn't be like super gradual, but it would happen within like 10,
No, it's like
10 seconds.
taking your coat off if it's really cold out.
No, fair.
Little bit. It's more of like a more gradual, like it's sudden, like as if something presenting itself
Okay.
to you kind of lessened. It's less like taking a coat off and more like if you did when you take a coat off, it's like that feeling of warmth maybe like lasted a little bit after you took the coat off.
Okay.
And then vanished. It's like more like that.
So I guess Ian, we'll just ask you then: did Abaddon throw the eye or not?
But it's up to. I mean, I would say yeah, they could have thrown it.
Okay.
Unless they took it out and like pondered it a bit before throwing it.
I catch it and I identify it. It takes 11 minutes.
Wait,
Oh,
you said
okay.
you said I didn't have to take it out?
Yes.
You do feel really weird with it out. I'd say like as it goes on, you feel like something's like missing.
Well, yeah, it's my eye.
I guess in like a
Yeah, there's a hole in his head. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you can't see out of it, but also you feel weirdly cold, which is something that you typically don't. You due to your, I guess, fantastical biology, like you could feel cold, but you definitely have more hindrance to it due to being, you know, a tiefling with that particular ancestry.
Do you do anything,
Yeah.
Abaddon?
Yeah. Any of you have a blanket, perchance?
I don't got a blanket, but I got wings. And I'm going to cover him in my wing.
Much appreciated. Just have the eye back when you're done, alright?
Okay.
I have two questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
One, the conversation initially started with the Abaddon asking people about their eye. Abaddon, did you move out of a room to speak to Norlis, or Norlis did you move out of your room you were in to talk to Abaddon?
Realistically, it probably happened while we were in the same room because Abaddon was making potions and I was in the potion making room.
Oh,
I didn't.
Abaddon
No. Abaddon was in the other room.
Abaddon did
Abaddon
not
was
go
making
to that
potions in the
room.
artificery.
Oh.
Sorry, go on. Thanks. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I guess Norlis would have just stumbled his way around. He would have overheard Abaddon asking the question as he was making his way towards the room the dragon is currently in, and then peeked his head in.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that just in case, because I want to know if anyone else would have noticed the gemstones.
Got it.
Okay.
The answer is no. I made away like a bandit. Hee hee. Hoo hoo.
Alright. I guess I don't really have another question other than so you guys are now waiting 10 minutes, or or are you guys about to do something else?
I mean, Abaddon is cold. I don't think I can move. I'm covering it.
I mean, it's up to. I mean,
Abaddon
yeah.
is doing that trademark 6-year-old just got out of a pool on a cool day chatter.
Okay.
Like that.
Otherwise,
Oh,
if
that's
you fully
adorable.
cast it, I'm about to give you the response.
Okay. Well, I casted it, or I'm in the
Okay.
process of. It takes 11 minutes.
So, while that's happening, Abaddon, do you kind of awkwardly try to make a potion still while they're casting it, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can cast it.
So you don't have proficiency with alchemical tools, so you don't quite know what you're doing, and you also are not in the most adequate state because you're a little cold and feeling odd. Are you trying to do a health potion or growth potion first?
Health potion seems easier.
Okay, we can do it. Do you have a proficiency of herbalism tools?
I have a proficiency in water vehicles.
Okay, we're not doing it. Roll a d20. Okay, you you make something. It's not quite a health potion. You don't it's feels tingly. You feel like it might heal you maybe a little, but you're not sure if it will function correctly. It might maybe if you cut your tongue it might heal that, but you don't really, and you're not really fully sure. You made some time, and you also didn't make much of it. You made a couple drops of whatever it is. More of it than you thought ended up kind of evaporating. But you made something, but you're not fully sure what it actually does, and you just have some guesstimates. And before you can make some quick responses to that, then I'm gonna get to Normalus with his with what he identified. Okay, in that case, Normalus,
Yes.
the name of this item would be, well, glass eye containing portion of fire of Surtur.
Okay.
Okay, go
Or we
off.
could call it yeah. In its what this item in its current circumstance does is it allows for vision. It grants whomever has it within the context of whom they are, and it won't apply to everyone, specifically Moritar for reasons that are meta. Fire resistance. Unless I guess fire resistance unless they already have it. I guess that's the best way to put it. And makes them open to and more adaptable to further editions of the Fire of Surtur. As in, within the context of the Fire of Surtur, there's more of it. This is something that maybe is in various pieces or forms. It's not a singular item per se, at least not currently. And so this portion, who's ever wearing it right now, at any given time, is more easily able to absorb more Fire of Surtur. Finally, the last single thing, I'll keep it very simple. After wearing it for 24 hours, the user's heart will begin to gain a golden glaze.
Interesting. It sounds like Normalus hands the eye back to Abaddon at this point. Well, clearly it grants you vision. It makes you more resilient to flame and fire now. And that's because it now contains a portion of the Fire of Surtur. This eye allows you, its current user, to incorporate other portions of the Flame of Surtur more easily, and if you wear it for a day's time, it makes your heart golden.
Okay, sounds kind of lethal.
Yes, no, I'm not entirely certain what that means, other than you'll be akin to a sibling of Mortar, I guess.
Wow,
So,
that's pretty cool.
yes, that's interesting. At this point, I have to assume that is a side effect of controlling or containing the flame of Suta.
Well, I suppose. That I. I mean, look, I'll take it.
Yes. So here's your eye that changes what your heart is like.
Do
I'll
a
take.
Sorry, go on.
Look, lets me see. Doesn't.
Bless you.
Nah, he slides it back into his eye socket.
Oh,
Oh,
that
you
was the
had-
noise.
The
That was.
foley of you slurping your eyeball back in.
I hate it.
Thanks. I hate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, you feel more like what was, removed from you is back where it should be. This weird feeling of cold, like immediately is resounded. It goes away, and it was never that intense of a cold, but it was an odd, unique feeling of cold, and it's gone now. You feel warm again. At what you would view as normal. It's hard for you to really tell if perhaps that you didn't feel this warm in the past, maybe days ago. It's hard to really tell specifics, but you do feel warm, like you were, at least before you took the eye out.
Well, that's magnitudes better.
Yeah. Okay. At this point, you guys have done a variety of things. I would say that would have gone for multiple hours. Unless there's something else you guys would like to get back to, which I'll, that you could say so now.
No, there's one more thing Nornus would want to do
What
before
was
we
it?
do long rest. He wants to study the circle within the dragon's room.
Okay.
Likewise.
And Moritar's not here to stop me. I put my dick in the dragon.
I eat the whole dragon.
Oh no.
I second
My
the
dick!
Sorry about that. I wanted to eat the dragon. It's your fault.
Get your fucking Mangus
What am I
Burnside's ass
hearing?
out of here.
Wait, what's happening?
Nothing, just
I did the wrong thing. Okay.
buffoonery.
We are being silly.
Okay.
Look, I appreciate the oral care, but
Um,
could you spit the pieces out?
She does not actually eat a dragon.
Oh,
I do not put my dick in the dragon.
I would never.
Do we have a quotes channel? We should have a quotes channel for I do not put my dick in the dragon.
I can make a close channel.
So wait, just to... So, from my understanding, just to quickly confirm something, so I'm doing this right. A teleportation circle, like the spell, like creates a teleportation circle.
No.
Yes,
Yes, no. Yes, no. You spend a minute drawing an established runic circle. You do not create it in that minute. that is something that takes a very long time to do, and many like weeks even, to establish a proper teleportation circle. What the spell teleportation circle does, it allows you to spend a minute using magical chalk to draw the runes of that particular teleportation circle and teleport to that exact circle. So
Okay, when you stand in that chalk area.
when you enter that chalk area after you spend a minute drawing it. So at this moment, what Norlis is doing, unless you think otherwise, is he is copying the circle that he sees in front of him into his spell book.
What you would see is an established teleportation circle.
Okay.
In addition, like you see what yeah, I would say this is the established teleportation circle. I was going to address this, but I don't think I'm gonna have it be well. Yeah, you know, I will say there is marks over here that look like they don't look functional anymore. They look like maybe in the past, or maybe in that area has been an area where in the past, like. Oh wait, actually, wait. Other question. So if you have an established teleportation circle, it can be a place where others use that spell, maybe creating a chalk area. They can then get to that area. Correct?
Yes, it's
It
like
will-
it's like calling a specific phone number.
Okay. So an established one is a way you could enter but not leave from. Correct? So as in you can get to that position, but you can't ever go into that established teleportation circle and go somewhere. Correct?
BRB.
Okay, I love talking while I'm muted too. Yes, that's great. It's like throwing a rock. The rock does not leave; it lands where it lands. It's a one-way teleport. It's a one-way flight.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So when you one that already exists is just used to get to that point. You can't just stand and do anything. So the idea is over here seems to have been in the past some area where chalk had been drawn here there, and it looks like it had been erased and done multiple times to use to get to different other teleportation circles. Now it's whatever's there is not functional anymore because it's time's went on, the chalk's not standard, whatever. But it's clear that this room was, where they had the proper one, and then where they basically had gone to other ones in the past. You're not sure whatever the last one was. You're not sure what location it would have gone to because you don't have the stuff on you. What you do have is the previous. You obviously do already have some papers, or not obviously. Actually, is that meta? Did you not want people to know that? I won't go on and explain what I said. Sorry. Wait. Let's go into hidden secrets real quick.
It's not a big deal. People will hear it in the recording anyway, so whatever.
Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. My point is, did you you also obviously have the written up, written or drawn copies of teleportation circles on you that you could then
Yes.
use as reference. Okay.
Yes.
So, and that's what you're doing with this. You're writing this down. Okay.
Yes.
I'd say it takes you a good while, but if you had like artist supplies or something, I'd say you could do it faster.
I just want to meta and say it would take a minute. Because that's what it takes to actually cast a spell.
Yeah.
To use it, so it wouldn't take me more than a minute to copy the general symbols of it into my book. By the way, I was looking it up. In order to make a permanent teleportation circle, you need to cast teleportation circle at the same location every day for a whole year. Yeah, so it's a lengthy process. Am I muted? No, okay. Ian?
Oh yeah, sorry. You're not muted. I can hear you.
No, I know. Just you weren't talking or anything. I draw the circle in my book.
Okay, good. Right. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do for the long rest? This has been a interesting session, I guess. I will say, just openly, I fully realize that Moritar's not being here may have changed some people's perception of what this session was going to be.
It's fine, it happens.
Okay. Okay, I would say that by this point you guys would begin the long rest. In regards to that, where are you guys sleeping? Like what rooms? And is anyone doing any watches per se?
Normalist would cast Liam's tiny hut at the entrance to the lab so that no one could get through without him saying so.
Are you saying you're using Lehman's tiny hut as a way, not as a place you'll go inside, but as a way to block a door?
Both, because I personally have to be inside it for it to stay up.
Okay. And so are you doing it right here?
Yes.
Okay. And so people that are not permitted by you to get into the area cannot. So you're using it to block the door.
Correct.
Okay.
But thankfully, assuming that there is no other entrance into this room, we are theoretically safe with or without being directly in the Liam's tiny hut.
Okay. And just to confirm, you can hear things outside of the. Well, we've gone over this. You definitely
Yes.
can hear things outside. Okay. Right. Is everyone
10.
going in the hut or no?
That is up to everyone else.
Yeah.
I see no reason not to.
You have a lot of people here. Besides
Yeah,
just the main person.
it would honestly make sense to stretch out this time.
Dumb question that has no actual bearing on anything. What is this liquid here?
It
Is this
seems to
something that
be
we need to worry
water.
about, like toxic fumes from?
It seems to be normal water.
Okay, cool.
It's possible it like might have heavy metals or something in it. It could also be possible it's like, hot spring water.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem like there's anywhere in here that is actually like good to sleep? Like, does it look like there's a sleeping quarters of any kind for someone who might have been here before?
It does, but that person is a dragon and in it.
Okay.
Like,
Gotcha.
it's possible there could be a normal-sized bed underneath the dragon, but you don't easily see it.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, the dragon just, was in their dragon form when they slept.
Gotcha.
Within the context that assumedly the dragon could shift forms into something more humanoid given the nature of this laboratory.
I think then that Hazel would go off and try to find like the most out of the way room to like doff her armor and like actually tend to herself. I don't know which room is the most.
Either the golem room, maybe you could say the glass like failed Moritar brother room or whatever. Moritar's failed sibling, or maybe you could be up in like the top portion of like
Yeah, I think she would
that
be.
room.
She'd be up here.
Which, if you had walked through, you would have seen some lining of. It would have looked to have been the lining of like a drawer. Did I assume? Wait, Normalist. Would you have just taken out like the gemstones that were of value to you and left the others?
Norlis saw it as a way to pay for numerous spell inscriptions later, so he took anything that he thought he could later sell for value.
Okay,
So,
would he have taken like pyrite,
every gem has a value.
like quartz?
Yes.
I think he would have taken.
Okay,
He would
so
have
you-
housed it.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to know if Hazel would have seen anything just kind of laying around. Okay, in that case, you just see the lining.
Norlis
like
saw
it's-
pretty rock and pretty gems. Those are money. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm taking
She
it
probably
all.
would have heard you doing that, but they don't see it,
Mhm.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so is anyone doing any? I would say that who is going to be in the hut?
Avalon for sure.
Okay, Mortar would probably, I think, reasonably be in the artificery. I was thinking of being in the dragon room. They probably would find that slightly weird.
Mhm.
Um,
Hanging out with the
Abaddon-
corpse
and you said-
corpse clash coma.
I forget to say corpse cloaca. I'm like, what's a
No.
Oh,
I keep stumbling over my words so bad.
yeah, I get that. I do that a lot. Abaddon, did you say you're gonna be in the hut?
yep, for sure,
Okay.
for sure.
You'll be in the hut. I would say most of the Goliaths would probably kind of lean towards being kind of out about, more so near the hut, but not quite in it. And maybe some kind of just kind of dwindling around like the not furnace. This is a kiln. Being around there, I'd say. Carl would probably get in the hut. Telf would move around a bit, eventually kind of heading towards where Hazel would be. And I think Moritar would be an artificer. Okay. And Sardonyx, you said would you be Sardonyx?
I would most likely be in the hut as well. Or maybe
In
in the
what
room
room?
behind the hut.
I have no idea what you said. You're not you didn't cut out, but it was a little like robot-y. What room?
We didn't hear you, Sardonyx.
If you're talking, dude, we're not hearing literally anything at all.
Yep.
Like,
This is full silence.
yeah, complete silence. Not even.
Not even some like
they
hums
said they'd be in the hut.
in the hut. Okay. Ian, did you say Telth is gonna be with me?
They would end up moving towards that direction, but if you seem to try to push her out, she'd go away.
I think I have expressed to Telth. I think Telth is my closest ally. I think just because they have been the one person who's been like the closest to me, I think like literally physically, I've probably bonded with them the strongest, so I'm fully fine with them sticking with me if they would like to.
Okay, well they'll be close to you. Yeah, and the giant group would be kind of I mean I think of yeah, I think the Trabold and Gurk would let wouldn't necessarily push themselves to be where Sardonyx is at all times. They'd probably be fine with being in just in a room. And yeah, is anyone doing any watches per se? If you guys feel that's necessary.
Norlis is
I
not.
would possibly.
Okay, because
I would possibly do the first.
okay, and if so, how are you going about doing it? As in, are you going to, well, leave? Where are you going to go to do it? And since the hut is where it is, are you going to open that door and go out to the leave this laboratory to do it? Is my
Can we open that door? I thought only Mortar could open it.
No, this. So for context, I'm talking about the door from. So, okay, there's the outside, like the beach. Then there's the cave you guys went through, and this is how to. And this is a door that goes from that cave. Then the other side, there's like a bit of like hot spring you guys kind of have to walk into, and then you get to the like room of the statues, which has the door that Moritar has the password
Okay, so that's
for,
not here.
and then the caldera. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're blocking off the door that would, from people from the beach would come from.
Can I,
in case-
before long rest, could I like wade through this water just to make sure that there's no like chance of anything getting in from back here?
You can do a like perception or investigation check. Are you looking for little side tunnels or tiny things within the water, or like what?
I'm just
Or are
looking
you
to see if
tryna-
there's like a direct way of this leading to like more cave where anything might be able to ambush us, anything of that sort. If this is like a back path.
You
17.
okay with you find a couple like small tubes here and there, which look like they might have been put in the past to like try to connect this area to other pockets of water per se. You aren't fully sure, but they're not very big. They're like not
Okay.
something someone could squeeze into. Maybe like a small fish could, if there were fish in this water, which since you got a 17, I'd say you see a couple fish. They're small, but you don't see many. You do
Okay.
see a couple fish.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that this wasn't a source of threat. I think Hazel will not be taking a watch. She's letting her guard down this one time.
Yeah. And with a 17, I think you'd also see like maybe like a couple like crawfish per se that might eat the fish sometimes, and perhaps like maybe some like little worms and whatnot. Nothing too much.
Don't tempt me,
Easy
Ian. I'll use
camouflage.
text RP to make a crawfish boil. I'll do it.
Ooh.
This is a threat.
Ooh, ooh. Wait, you're like one of the lesser expected people to say that, albeit I think I'm the only person from the south in the game currently, though.
I'm not from the south. I just know that crawfish boil is good.
I've been to a couple. My dad used to do a LSU meetups because he went to LSU. So in my city in Charlotte, like he would meet up with people that previously went to LSU and they do crawfish boils.
Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna head back to my little room here and do my long rest activities.
Okay. And back to it, Sardonyx. What was your plan in terms of watching or a long rest? As you said, you offered to watch. And you could also ask any of the Goliaths to watch if you wish.
Ask any of the no, oh, fair. I would have
Mainly location is what I'm
possibly,
interested
like,
in.
This thing actually loaded. It's urgent. From what I remember, so the door to the left, like that's near the dragon's den. That's the door out, right? Towards the
Yeah, the door
beach,
that
I'm
you guys are
guessing?
blocking goes outside. It goes to the caves you guys walked into, which had like the fire creatures, which are probably dead by now.
Mhm.
And then that goes out to the beach, and that's where Axer had gone to meet up with the people outside, which he never mentioned anything about.
I mean, if anything, I can just like sit at the edge of the dome and just look out. No,
I mean, do you open the door so you can see into the cave? And I would say that,
yeah.
like, because of the angle, it wouldn't be meaningful. You'd have to like angle yourself, since it's like only like a couple feet, and then like you could look down this way, but then there's another turn, and so you wouldn't really get a good look at people from a distance.
I mean, if anything, I can go out and like fly up. No, sit above the door.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
It still wouldn't mean much because of the angling of the cavern. Like,
No, I
if
mean,
you're
like,
trying to just
outside of the
listening
door.
in, perhaps having the door open to listen through the caves would be better. Like, you could, like,
Mhm.
you know, hearing wise would be better, I guess. But in terms of like visual stuff, you'd want to move
Mhm.
farther in to really get a better grasp of anything. For
Okay,
having
I
a
don't
closer
mind.
range. As in, if you were deaf, you wouldn't be able to see something until it was right in front of you, or very close.
I can't go through this door, so
Well, you can't. I mean, you can, because you guys are in the. You're allowed to go in and out of the
yes.
hut, and therefore you can open the door. But other people
That's
wouldn't be able to because they wouldn't be able to get into the hut, as in people who are
yeah.
not part of the group.
I was going to open the door, like I said.
Yeah. So you just open the door and kind of keep it open for slight visual, more so hearing-based reasons, correct? Okay.
Decide.
And how long do you want to do that watch?
Well, that depends. Though. I guess we would have discussed that before, like how long each watch is gonna be.
Yeah, because I mean, the assumption most people probably, I mean, maybe some of the Goliaths you could ask and they would definitely do it, but a lot of the people probably aren't going to be doing rests to watches just because there's like a high degree of safety in your location.
Yeah, I feel
Or
like
at least an
I'd just
assumed
do
high
like
degree
maybe a 30 to 45-minute watch.
before going. Okay, at the start or at what point?
Yeah, I'll just start.
Okay.
But like,
Um,
maybe. I'm bouncing here. Would I do it at the
and do you
start?
ask any of the Goliaths to do
Yeah.
anything in regards to that?
Which Goliaths?
I mean, you have 4 Goliaths that are all fairly
You
loyal
mean
to
my
you. More so
friends?
Gurk and Treble are
Okay.
the loyal ones.
No, I want Axer. I'm taking Axer with me.
Okay. Do you just have her sit in the hut, or do you want her to go farther?
We'll both be like going around the same ways. So like we'll actually like leave the hut, walk around a bit, you know.
No, oh yeah. Also, the water over here, if you can see, is not there. I'm just this is just how the
No,
map is.
I can't
View
see
that as like
anything.
land. Okay. Oh, well, the idea is. Oh, wait a second.
Okay.
Oh, I realized you guys didn't see that. Okay, good. Sorry. Just ignore what I said. Yeah, I forgot I made it so you can't see past there. But that door would lead to, that's why you were confused by the thing. Yeah, sorry. Ignore everything I said with the, I completely forgot I had done the map that way. Okay, in that case, opening the door would give you, if we're, probably like, yeah, ignore the thing about the angle not mattering. I would say it still gives you like a good 15 feet or so of like straight vision to see. Obviously, though, we're talking about a tunneling cavern to some extent, which leads, a mile a bit that leads into that lava room, which then goes to more tunneling cavern.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about I forgot, I guess, to more heavily mention the thing that, the room with the forges and the big fire lizards. Strummy. But yeah, in that case, would you and Axer, do your perception check, I guess. And I'm assuming Axer's going to do it after you do. Or I mean, they'll probably, sleep slightly less, I guess. I mean, yeah. Okay. And I will.
Why?
I guess I'll do theirs directly afterwards, just for the sake of making sense. Okay, 16, a little more than that. Probably probably like 18 or so, because if you're +2.
I
Probably
do
have.
not
Actually,
know.
they probably would have her higher than that. They probably got like 19 or so. Okay. Yeah. Well, either of you don't hear that much. You hear kind of splashes of lava from, the room with Shrummy Jr. And that's kind of more mild. But yeah, you don't really hear much. Other than that, and that's only happens a couple of times. Otherwise, things seem rather, safe and pleasant. Okay. Is there anyone else that does anything in terms of during this long rest besides sleeping?
No, sir.
Okay.
Nope.
Right. Now I'll give you guys an option. Do you guys want to end here, or do you guys want to continue for another 40 minutes to an hour?
It makes sense to end here, mostly because
Yeah.
Moritar
This is our
might have
stop
some things
area.
he'd want to do, and
Yeah.
potentially retcon, like, oh, I was trying to do that or this. So before we do anything else, that'll make it harder to toss whatever he had planned into things. It might be smart to stop here.
Well,
I'm okay
I
with
mean-
this being a like a housekeeping session, essentially, just to like make sure we're
Yeah.
getting all our like things in order.
Indeed.
Well, how I would view it for Moritar is sorry, go on, Sarnex. So do you?
So, were you saying something? I don't know. We can't hear him again. Okay. What were you saying then, Ian?
Oh, I was going to say, how I would, my understanding of Mortar stuff is most of Mortar stuff would just be things they'll be doing on their own. They haven't given me any indication. I mean, if they want to have conversations with any of you, I guess, that could have been a thing. But I'm in the assumption they'd mainly be using their time to, at least during that long rest and prior to work on the stuff they had previously been working on in terms of their armor and all that. maybe potion making perhaps, but as in nothing I feel that would make it so whatever happens in the next hour would be invalid. That's what I'm saying.
It sounds like a good reason to stop them.
Well,
Unless I misheard,
I mean,
misunderstood.
my point of saying that is that I don't. If you guys did want to continue another hour, and like, if you like went to, you know, if let's just theoretical combat occurs or something, I don't think whatever could have happened we'll just say it happened and we can do that. Like
I think we're fine
outside
to
the
just call it
session
here.
or during. Okay, yeah, I could do either way. Yeah. My point is I don't think it will hinder anything.
Okay. Understood.
Okay, but if you guys want to end here, we can end here. That works too. Okay. So, this has been a interesting session. As in,
Mm-hmm.
this in like other games would be amazing because having like RP sessions in general is like really helpful to certain kinds of games. But because of how this game is, this is a good thing about the game. How it's, you know, more so about the party. This didn't feel like as impactful as this could in other games. As in, downtime sessions can be really meaningful to like in certain games that are more like that are very combat focused or certain other things. Or
I think it was a perfectly okay
I felt
session.
like it was really
I think,
nice.
especially compared to last week, which ended
a
on a really sour note, I think this is a significantly better session. I think this is great.
yeah,
You-
like a get to know each other more kind of session.
Yeah, it's also
I
like
feel like
we've been kind of like running combat after exploration after
Oh.
exploration after travel into combat. And it's just like we're finally getting a chance to like just sit down.
Okay.
I like it.
After boom points, I might have a couple like generalistic questions to ask you guys.
Okay. That's fine.
But yeah, let's do boom points. Who wants to go first?
Ian goes first.
Okay. Since I'm in a position where a lot of the things you guys did, I kind of gave you options to work with. So I feel like it'd be weird for me to be like, oh well,
That's fine.
I'm gonna give you the a certain boom point for like going out and doing this particular thing without like having any context for it. So like,
That's fine. Then I'll go
as
first.
in, okay,
I want to give my boon point to Abaddon for being a silly gremlin and trying to fly to the best of his ability. And I'm curious to see if that pans out into a potential boon point exchange later on, where he unveils his true lineage and sprouts wings, say 40 sessions from now or something, just absolutely insanely. He gets knocked into an unending pit and sprouts wings at that particular moment, and it's like, wow, I was a winged tiefling all along. They were hidden deep in my body or something. I don't know. But it just opened the potentiality for some really interesting stuff, and it was also funny and adorable. So, boom point for Abaddon.
I actually will go and give a boom point. I just wanted to kind of give preface why I was like normally in this context I would have given Norlis a boom point for everything, but I felt
Okay.
but I think I'm going to the boom point I'll give is I'm going to give it to Amethyst. Now, well, you know, actually, screw it. I'll give 2 boom points. I'll give 1 to Normalist. Obviously, there was already like, you know, a bunch of options to pick from. I don't feel like these were out of the blue or everything. But
Mhm.
I like the way you went about the box process. Specifically, like I was, you know, having everyone go in and make a choice instead of just, you know, having one simple thing. You kind of made a group activity. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
And then Sardonyx, I guess I can find I want to keep it at one thing, so in case someone else gives you one. I like the extent you went with the golems, where, I mean, maybe you could have in the ways you went about it. I think like you could, someone who I think would be metagaming would try to like, go about it in a little different way, or more so continuously go at it and try to get certain things, and you didn't. It didn't feel as in a metagame person might try to, I don't know, look for like switches or whatnot after, even though like you got like a nat 1 on your like Arcana thing, which would probably make you not do that, not think of certain things. But I like the way you went about it, and the, you know, assumed time that was, you know, basically your character flying around and just kind of like swatting and poking at the golem. But yeah, but those are my 2 boom points.
Alrighty.
See, I'm kind of a bit flummoxed because I was going to give my boon point to Abaddon for discovering that they're a furry, but someone else did that, so I'll give my boon point to Sardonyx for being very sweet to Abaddon with the wings around them to keep them warm when they were getting the Eye of Surtur identified.
Hmm.
Because I thought that was a cute little
I
moment.
still owe Abaddon a drink.
Okay, Abaddon, would you like to give one?
I'm kind of torn between Nornalus trying to explain to his best of his abilities what different air densities mean.
I can't brush past that. I feel like he deserves it for that.
Or for Sardonyx to not even question the probably brink of insanity that someone would have to be to flap their arms and consider that they could fly. And just roll with it. Like, no, that's just regular fucking Tuesday for this guy. I'm kind of torn.
Flip a coin.
Can I give two?
Or that works. Or if Ian says so. Or flip a coin.
Ian, can I?
Can you give the boom point for the same reason as someone else, or what, something else? Can you restate what you said? I didn't quite hear it.
I'm kind of torn between giving Nornalus and Sardonyx a boon point.
You can give more than one person a boom point, as long as you're not like, as long as it's not like it's not, as long as it's a thing you don't do every session, it's fine. But if you want to just
Okay.
give one boom point, you flip a coin.
Nah, I'll give two. I'll give two.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
No problem.
Sardonyx, you were the last one left, friend. Should you have one to give? You are not.
I have a boon point to Abaddon.
Giving one to Abaddon?
Abaddon sweep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like, honestly, trying to fly and then thinking you're a tabaxi is just insane. It's just insane.
Okay. I will give one more, and this is after me kind of. It's based on certain things, but also something I've been thinking about for a couple sessions, or more so ingraining the last couple sessions within this context. Actually, more of it in the last couple sessions. I'm gonna give mine to Hazel for, I guess, being. I mean, your character didn't do a lot this session, but that's kind of the thing. You didn't feel that you needed to necessarily focus on anything in particular because there wasn't anything your character specifically wanted to do, and kind of as more of a recognition of like things they could do probably wouldn't pan out well. And I like how you've been going about the character in the context that their motives are more so how they relate and do things within the party are often more, I guess, mild per se. It's hard for me to go about saying what I want to say.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
Hazel's a very subtle character.
Yeah.
She's very subtle. She says what she needs to say when she needs to say it, but doesn't really go out of her way to do too much. And I think that's exactly how I like her, because I feel like when I try to go into like huge, like extended scenes with her, I end up like losing some of what makes her interesting.